Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm using my friend as a model today, and right now I'm just filling in her brows. I'm using the Anastasia dip brow in ebony, and I'm just going to speed through this process because everybody cares about the eyeshadow, not really, the eyebrows. Um, so right when I get done with filling in the brows, I'm going to move on to the concealer, and I use the Tarte concealer in deep for underneath her brows, and then for the top of her brows I used the Nars foundation in her shade, because I didn't want the top of her brows to be as light as the bottom of her brows, so you're gonna see that very soon. Right now I'm just gonna buff in the concealer just to make sure everything is blended very well, because you don't want no patchiness in your concealer. There we go. Now I'm using the foundation to clean up the top of her brows. Make sure you're very careful when you're doing that and very precise, because you don't want to mess it up. And then I'm using the e.l.f. gel, the brow gel, to make her brows stay. And then I went in with the highlighter underneath her brows just to make it pop just a little bit. Now I'm using the Louise base Rumor 4 as a eyeshadow primer, and I'm just gonna like buff that all over her eyelids, and we're not gonna set it or nothing. We're just gonna go straight into the eyeshadow palette. And the eyeshadow palettes we're using today is the Beat Down palette from Beats by Deb, and also we're using the Warriors palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm just using the pink shade in her palette, and then I'm gonna reach into the purple shade next. Make sure when you're blending your eyeshadow to take your time. Pack the shadows on first and then you blend. You don't want to just keep blending, because then you're just moving the product around instead of it staying in one place. Now I'm going to cut her crease with the Louise base Rumors 0, which is the white shade, because we want the shadow to be like really bright and you want your shadows to show, so you have to use something that's really like light. And when you're cutting the crease, just take your time with it. I cannot emphasize that enough. You have to take your time, or else it's going to be messed up if you do not take your time. And it's okay to start small, because you can always make the eyelids bigger if you would like. And I realized that when I was doing that shape that I didn't want to go for that anymore, so I went ahead, and you're gonna see I changed it just a little bit. Now I'm taking the white shade in the Warriors palette, and I'm just filling in the front of her eyelids, because I want that area to be kind of white. And then I went in with the brown shade from that palette as well. And then I'm gonna reach into the orange shade in the Beat Down palette by Beats by Deb, to just fill it into the white and the brown, so the white and the brown isn't so harsh. Make sure you're packing on your shadows, because you want it to stay in one place. You don't want it to keep moving around. I'm sorry for my voice, you guys. I have a cold, so my voice is really bad right now. Now I'm going to go ahead and use that same Louise Rumor 0 base and just cut the eyeliner wing, because we're doing a glitter wing, so I'm going to use that as my base. Once that's cut, I'm going to go over it with the pink shadow, just to give my glitter something to sit on. And then after the pink shadow, I added glue, lash glue, and then I went over it with the glitter. I mixed a pink glitter and a silver glitter. And just apply that, and be very careful when you're applying it, because you don't want to get the glitter onto the eyeshadow. I went ahead and popped some lashes on, and I put white pencil in her waterline. Now we're moving on to the skin. I'm using my e.l.f. moisturizer as always, and then I'm going to go into my Maybelline Pore Eraser Primer next. And then my NYX Angel Veil primer next. It literally blurs the skin. Like, it's so bomb. Now we're using the Nars foundation. And when you're applying your foundation, use as much as you would like. I use a lot because that's what I like. But use as much as you like. And just make sure you blend properly. Blend your foundation very, very well. Take your time with it. Don't rush it because rushing is not going to make it blend. Now I'm using that same Tarte concealer in Deep. And I make sure to highlight all the areas that I want, you know, to appear brighter on her face. And sorry, I didn't realize my head was like blocking, you know, from you guys from seeing at certain points. I'm just applying the concealer everywhere that it's needed. And yes, that's a lot of concealer, but it is what it is. That's how I like it, so that's why when you have a model, they're just gonna sit and, you know, you can do what you want to do on them. Now I let my concealer get a little tacky because I don't like to blend it right away. So while I contour her, I'm gonna let the concealer dry just a little bit. And make sure when you're blending your contour to take your time. You don't want it to be messed up. Now I'm blending out that concealer, and I'm just taking my time with it because you don't want it to come out harsh. Look at that blend, okay? Look at that blend. It's so freaking cute. I look a hot mess, but don't judge me. Yeah, she was feeling herself because that blend, so cute. Now I'm just going in with my Huda Beauty setting powder, and I like to press it all into the skin, but I tend to use a lot of powder, like way more than what people use, but that's just me. And then I'm gonna go over it with my Fenty setting powder. Make sure that you powder everywhere that you placed your concealer. Anytime you use cream or liquid, you have to set it with powder. So we're setting all the concealer areas with the setting powder, and then we're going to go over the contour with the powder contour. Yep, and I always use Black Radiance. That's the dark to deep palette. And just making sure everything's blended. Now I'm using my Lancome powder in 550 to clean up under her eyes. Just going back in with that contour. Now I'm using my blush palette from Morphe, and I like to mix the shades to get, you know, the shade that I like. And then just going back in over her powder under her eyes just to make sure everything is blended. And I'm going to go ahead and spray her face with the Morphe setting spray. And then now we're going back into the Beats by Deb palette, the Beat Down palette, and just using that orange and that brown shade just to, you know, get under her eyes popping. And we're just adding some like beauty marks on her face. Yeah, she was feeling herself, you guys. She knew she was looking good. Now I'm going to go in with some highlighter. I'm using the Fenty highlighter. And this is like a very, very subtle highlight. So if you're someone who's not into like a lot of highlight, this is perfect for you. But now I'm going in with a brighter highlight. My favorite one. I've talked about this highlight all the time. So you guys should already know it. because it's so freaking pretty. Like, look at that. Look at her skin, you guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and spray her one more time because I like to spray every like in between just to make sure everything is setting very well. Now I'm going over her lips with some brown pencil. You know me. I don't care for lipstick. I like lip gloss with a brown pencil. So freaking cute. And I'm saying what I like because this is my friend and I just wanted to do a look that I wanted on her. So this is not a client. This is not a, oh, why aren't you doing what they want? Nah, she's my muse for the day. I'm just adding some clear lip gloss. That's my personal lip gloss, so that's why I put it directly to my friend's mouth. Yeah, look at the skin. Look at the skin. Ah, the makeup's giving me life. I'm just going into my eyeshadow palette and just adding a little bit of that orange shadow as blush as well. Oh my gosh. I decided to add some bottom lashes. It just felt like it was needed. So I didn't record it because I was kind of struggling doing that, you know. Now I'm just going over her face, just making sure everything is set very well. The look is pretty much done. Oh my gosh, you guys, I love it so, so much. Like, this is so freaking bomb. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys like it. Comment down below. Make sure you subscribe and like. I love you guys so much. You guys, I love it. Bye.